Rick Dudley. I'm working on a lot of different stuff. I'm a blockchain architecture consultant slash advisor, so I have a number of projects that I work very closely with. Right now I work very closely with a company called Foam Space, IXO Foundation, some people I would like to talk about but can't. I'm doing a lot of work with MakerDAO right now. I was just briefly talking with some people from the Ethereum Foundation here about some projects. I've contributed to Casper over the years.
Great. Sounds like you're really deep into the community. Can you tell me about how it's evolving, the community?
How the community is evolving. Well, I mean, there's a lot of really young, sort of ambitious, I guess, talented guys just trying to build systems. So how's the community evolving? I mean, that's definitely happening. Is there a lot of growth in terms of enterprise and stuff? I don't work a lot with enterprise clients. Usually it's my clients that work with enterprise clients. And yeah, obviously there's a huge demand for that. There's a lot of people sort of cold calling me, asking me to consult for ICOs, help them with white papers, stuff like that. So that's growing a lot in demand. I think as any sort of technology-oriented community develops, what you sort of find is this pyramid structure where there's a lot of knowledge at the top of the pyramid, right. And as the community grows, it does not grow like a square, right? It's like the knowledge, it just stays pretty concentrated in the same, percentage-wise. You're lucky to get replacement on the knowledgeable people, and you grow the community for people with less knowledge. So I think that's just sort of a natural thing that I've seen. I was really into Linux and Unix and stuff in the late 90s, like 97, 96, 98, around that time. And so I saw that in my sort of previous life as a systems administrator. The new technology made it easier to call yourself a systems administrator. It wasn't that more and more people were becoming technically savvy enough to be the system administrators of 5 years previous.
Yeah. So that's an obstacle that hopefully the community will use our own technology to solve.
Yes, I mean, I think that's what we've seen in computing at large, right? Is automation removes the need of adding skilled people in order to scale out the industry. So we're seeing something similar with Ethereum, but it's not really. We're not quite at the inflection point that it kind of feels like. I don't think we're quite there yet. It's still too hard for people to deploy safe contracts.
Right. Okay, so speaking of that, I work for Chronologic, and we are working with Hypermerium on the Ethereum alarm clock. And so the idea of that is scheduling future transactions. It doesn't have to be a payment, could be just a smart contract. What are your thoughts on use cases for the future scheduling, future transactions? Or do you see that as needed in the infrastructure?
It's complicated. So there's some complexity around that. There's certain types of oracles that are necessary. There's certain types of time-based oracles that are necessary. You have to be very cautious about how you create anything on Ethereum that's time-based, like clock time-based, because miners have the capacity to skew the clock time on the blockchain in a way that it's not, even though technically it's inconsistent in consensus. There is no, it's not really, it's just a message that's asserted. There's no verification on it. So I'm kind of in the weeds here, but
it's an obstacle. That's what I'm hearing from you, that time on Ethereum is an obstacle that eventually we'll have to overcome.
Yeah, so one of the companies I'm advising, Foam Space, they're doing a proof of time. They're doing a Byzantine fault-tolerant time synchronization protocol. That's one of the protocols that we're working on there. And it's something that I've been discussing for years. It's weird to say years, but yeah, when I first started in the space, it was something that I immediately thought of that needed to be added. I think that like I said, I think that the deferred or delayed transaction sending is very useful. I think that is a useful concept, but again, you have to be very careful about
For sure.
how you implement it. And I don't know the implementation details of ETH Alarm Clock.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So are you the type of person who wants to share your websites and your Twitter and all that stuff?
Sort of, yeah. So I'm AF Dudley 0 on Twitter. My company's called Vulcanize. The website is vulcanize.io. Probably look at the GitHub, which is Vulcanize, before looking at the website's very out of date at this point. But yeah, I work on a Byzantine fault-tolerant database architecture called Vulcanize DB. I mean, that's all of my clients, so hopefully we'll be deploying that, and that's where most of the resources are going right now, is in developing that product.
Sounds like you have a lot of really challenging projects, and it keeps you busy.
Yes, it's quite true. Very busy.
Thanks a lot for the interview.
Yeah, thank you.